Today I, F29, met a new face of my husband, M27, and it scared me. We've been married for 3 years and together for 6 years. He's a person that is very, very peaceful, really. I even asked myself if he never had a fight in his life, but every time I asked him about that he only told me that he didn't want to talk about it. I believed he was a pacifist. He always preferred to get away before beginning a fight or even a discussion, but that changed today. We was in a bus, returning from work. He gets out of work earlier every Friday, so he goes to meet me and we return home together. The thing is that it was a man in the bus that was making his TikToks. He was there slapping softly persons randomly in the bus and recording their reactions. My husband was one of his victims. He turned around and looked at the boy and asked for an apology. He said sorry and it was all. Now, we and that kid, I'm referring to him as a kid since he looked younger, maybe someone near of the beginning of his 20s, went out of the bus in the same bus stop. That was when everything went to hell. The kid before leaving the bus slapped my husband again and ran. Now, my husband is someone thin, but he always does exercise at home, so he ran after him and got him pretty fast. That was the first time I was my husband punching someone. He took the kid from behind and punched his back, then made him look at my husband and he began to punch him in the face, once, twice, 3 times. When I saw my husband's fist was bleeding but he didn't stop, he then took the kid and stomped his head against the sidewalk. That was when I interviewed. I tried to separate them, but my husband didn't stop. He kept punching him and saying, "I told you to apologize. Now I want you to beg for forgiveness," while he was still punching him. When I stopped him, the kid was crying, his face was a real mess, his nose and lips were bleeding, his eyes were swollen. We were lucky that we actually live in a place where at night there are almost no one in the streets so late at night, so I took my husband and told him we should escape and take a taxi since we had to take another bus, something we did. Once in the taxi I wanted to talk to him about that. He only told me, that's the only language that savage people understand. I asked him to stop. An adult should know how to follow orders. Now, I don't know how to feel, I've never knew that part of him. I know is important for men to defend themselves, but what he did was something beyond that. He wanted that kid to actually beg for his forgiveness. That made me feel a little scared. I know he never wanted to talk about the fights he had during school, something that actually is very normal for men to talk. I suppose now I know why. He told me that he just was out of his patience, and I believe him, and I love him, but remembering the crying and scared face of that kid still makes me think. That kid, yes, was legally an adult, but still a young man. They do stupid things, that's what young people are for. What if we have a son and he beats up him like that because he's an adult that can't follow orders? Maybe I'm overthinking about this. Maybe I should actually feel glad that my husband actually is capable of defend himself. Also, I see him different, more intimidating, but in a good way. I also can't explain that.